Welcome to our deep dive. You ready to tackle some Canibus? We're taking a look at his album Kaiju,
Yeah.
and you want to get a handle on these crazy complex lyrics quickly.
Right.
So we're going to unpack all the major themes, all the lyrical wizardry, and what makes this album such a unique listening experience.
Definitely.
Are you ready to decode Canibus with us?
Absolutely. He's definitely known for his intricate wordplay, and Kaiju is no exception.
Right.
But what's really intriguing is that he doesn't just use this complexity for its own sake. He's exploring some really profound ideas about society, technology, and even spirituality.
Oh, wow.
And he weaves it all into this really dense, multi-layered tapestry of rhymes.
So we've got quite a few tracks to cover.
We do.
I have it here on my list. We've got Curmudgeon, Entometa, Hydra, Live Action Roleplay, Animal Husbandry,
Yeah.
COVID, Santa, Kaiju Karaoke, The Long Road, Verzoos, Chase, and Desperados PT2.
Quite a list.
It's quite a list.
Yeah.
And looking at these titles, it already feels like we're stepping into some uncharted territory.
Yes.
What are some of the major themes that we're going to encounter as we kind of decode these tracks?
Well, one of the most prominent themes is this sense of looming societal collapse,
Okay.
often interwoven with this kind of technological dystopia. It's not just this abstract fear-mongering, though.
Right.
Canibus paints these really vivid pictures,
Okay.
like in Hydra, where he raps about 911 emergency FaceTime and people being froze with icicles hanging from their earlobes.
Oh.
These aren't just random images he's throwing out there.
Right.
He's making you think about the potential consequences of unchecked technological advancement and social control.
That's a chilling image,
Yeah.
especially with how technology is evolving.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's holding up this mirror to our anxieties about where we might be headed.
Absolutely.
But it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
It's not all doom and gloom.
I noticed themes of spiritual awakening
Yes.
and references to ancient myths and civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
How do those kind of elements play into this seemingly dystopian landscape?
Well, it's fascinating how he juxtaposes these seemingly disparate elements.
Okay.
Like, take the opening lines of Curmudgeon. The empire beneath the ice has everything to do with your life. History is music. Music is life.
Yeah.
He's not just talking about ancient civilizations.
Right.
He's suggesting that the past is directly connected to our present and our future.
Wow.
It's like he's urging us to learn from history,
Okay.
to understand these cyclical patterns of rise and fall, and to find meaning and guidance from ancient wisdom.
It's like he's saying that even in a world that's seemingly on the brink of collapse, there's still this potential for individual awakening.
Absolutely.
We're tapping into something that's deeper and more meaningful.
Right.
And he doesn't shy away from exploring these themes through some seriously complex wordplay.
He does not.
I have to admit, some of his lyrics left me reaching for a dictionary.
He likes to use a lot of big words. Yeah. But what's impressive is how he uses this complexity to create these really impactful metaphors.
Okay.
In Animal Husbandry, he raps about morphic resonance. Now, that's a scientific concept dealing with the transfer of information through energy fields.
Oh, wow.
But in the context of the song, it becomes this powerful metaphor for how ideas and cultural patterns can influence us even across generations.
Wow. I completely missed that connection.
Yeah.
It's like he's elevating the art of rhyming to a whole new level.
Absolutely.
Using scientific language to explore deeper philosophical and social concepts.
He really is.
And he's not just flexing his vocabulary, right?
No, it's not.
There are some serious critiques of contemporary society woven into these rhymes.
Absolutely.
What stands out to you?
Well, he's particularly critical of surveillance culture and the potential for technology to be used for social control.
Right.
Remember the line from Curmudgeon, "Are you a targeted individual? Hey, you never know." It's not just paranoia. He's tapping into a very real anxiety about how data is collected and used to manipulate or control individuals.
Yeah.
And he takes it even further in live action roleplay where he raps about Amerizuela and the beast mark on your genitalia.
Oh.
It's a very provocative image that suggests a loss of individual freedom and bodily autonomy in a hyper-controlled society.
Those lyrics definitely hit hard, especially in our current social climate.
They do?
It's almost like he's using these dystopian scenarios as cautionary tales,
Yeah.
urging us to be more aware of how power structures operate
Right.
and how technology can be both liberating and oppressive.
Absolutely.
And he does all this while weaving in these intricate rhyme schemes that are honestly mind-boggling.
Oh, yeah. His rhyme schemes are incredible.
Like in Entometa, he rhymes meta, Canibus, and beta,
So clever.
cleverly embedding his own name within the rhyme scheme.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like he's challenging the listener to keep up, to actively engage with the lyrics and to decode the hidden meanings embedded within the rhymes.
Right.
It's a very different listening experience than, say,
Yeah.
your typical pop song.
Totally different.
Yeah, it's more like solving a puzzle or deciphering a secret code.
Exactly.
So we've got these big overarching themes of societal collapse, technological dystopia,
Yep.
and spiritual awakening.
Right.
We talked about his complex wordplay and how he uses it to craft powerful metaphors and deliver social commentary.
Yeah.
Now let's start digging into some of these specific tracks.
Okay.
Where do you think we should begin?
Well, you mentioned being intrigued by the collaborations.
Yeah.
Why don't we jump into those
Okay.
and explore how those featured artists add to Kaiju's unique sound?
Yeah, from what I've gathered,
Okay.
we have some pretty diverse artists featured on this album.
do.
DMX, Born Sun, Body Bag Ben, Hus Kingpin, MF Doom, Cool Keith, and Just in Time.
It's quite a lineup.
That's a mix of styles that I'm really curious to unpack.
Yeah, it's a fascinating lineup.
All right, let's start with the track Travis Scott Concert.
Okay.
It features Born Sun and Body Bag Ben,
Yes.
two artists I'm not super familiar with.
Right.
What can you tell me about their styles
Okay.
and how they contribute to this particular track?
Travis Scott Concert is a great example of how Canibus creates a dialogue
Okay.
between different voices and styles. So you have Born Sun,
Yeah.
who brings this raw, almost shamanistic energy to his verses.
Interesting.
He's known for his complex rhyme schemes and his focus on spirituality and consciousness.
Okay.
Then you have Body Bag Ben, who comes from a more hardcore streetwise background.
Okay.
His lyrics are gritty, often violent, and he's got this very commanding presence on the mic.
So it's like a clash of styles, but in a way that somehow works.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not about everyone sounding the same or fitting into a neat little box.
Right.
Canibus is curating this soundscape where these diverse voices can coexist
Okay.
and even amplify each other.
Interesting.
And on Travis Scott Concerts specifically, this collision of styles creates this intense, almost chaotic energy that mirrors the chaos of a mosh pit at a concert.
That makes sense. It's like he's using the music to create a sonic representation of the album's themes of societal unrest and upheaval.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've got this clash of styles, this intense production, and this underlying sense of chaos.
Right.
What's the overall message or takeaway from this track?
I think Travis Scott Concert is a commentary on the state of modern society,
Okay.
specifically youth culture, and the ways in which it's being manipulated and exploited.
Okay.
You have these references to consumerism, social media, and the pursuit of fleeting fame.
Right.
So you got Canibus is saying, hey, look at what's happening around you.
Yeah.
Are you really in control, or are you being controlled?
That's a powerful message, especially coming from someone like Canibus, who's always been outspoken about his views on society and culture.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a message that resonates with a lot of young people today who are feeling disillusioned and disaffected.
Right.
They're looking for something more, something authentic, something that speaks to their own experiences and anxieties.
Absolutely.
And Canibus isn't afraid to give them that.
He's not.
Even if it's uncomfortable or challenging,
Right.
he's not sugarcoating anything.
Yeah.
He's holding up a mirror to society and saying, this is what we've become.
Exactly.
And that's what makes him such a vital voice in hip-hop.
It does.
He's not afraid to provoke, to challenge, to make people think.
He's a true original.
All right, so we've unpacked Travis Scott Concert.
Yes.
Let's move on to another collaboration that really caught my eye.
Okay.
Chase.
Chase.
This track features MF Doom, Cool Keith, and Just in Time.
Wow.
Now, those are some legendary names in hip-hop.
They are.
Each with their own unique and eccentric styles.
That's-
What happens when you throw them all together on a Canibus track?
Chase is pure hip-hop alchemy.
Okay.
You have MF Doom, the masked villain,
Right.
known for his cryptic rhymes and his laid-back flow.
Mm-hmm.
You have Cool Keith, the abstract surrealist,
Okay.
whose lyrics often defy logic and conventional storytelling.
Yeah.
And then you have Just in Time, who brings this smooth, soulful vocal style
Right.
that adds another layer of texture to the track.
Wow, that's a lot to process.
It is.
How do their styles mesh with Canibus's own intricate wordplay and complex themes?
It's like watching a team of master chefs create a dish
Okay.
that's both familiar and completely unexpected.
Right.
Each ingredient adds its own distinct flavor, but they all work together harmoniously.
So it's not just a random assortment of rappers thrown together for the sake of it.
It's not.
There's a deliberate artistic vision at play here.
Absolute.
Okay, let's break it down.
Yep.
What does each artist bring to the table on Chase?
Well, MF Doom's verse is classic Doom. It's got this laid-back, almost conversational flow.
Mm-hmm.
But the rhymes are intricate and the wordplay is sharp.
Right.
He's weaving in these references to pop culture, history, and philosophy,
Oh,
creating this dense tapestry of illusions
wow.
that you could spend hours unpacking.
And how does that contrast with Canibus's style?
Well, Canibus is more intense,
Okay.
more direct.
Mm.
His delivery is sharper, his rhymes are more complex,
Mm.
and his vocabulary is more expansive.
Wow.
But there's a mutual respect between them,
Okay.
a shared understanding of the craft of rhyming.
It's like they're speaking different dialects of the same language.
Exactly.
And then you have Cool Keith,
Yes.
who comes in with his trademark abstract surrealism.
Right.
His verse is like a stream of consciousness, a whirlwind of bizarre images and non sequiturs.
Mm-hmm.
But even in its seeming randomness,
Right.
there's a method to his madness.
There is.
He's playing with language, bending it to his will, creating this sonic landscape that's both jarring and hypnotic.
It's amazing.
And what about Just in Time? How does his vocal style contribute to the overall soundscape?
Well, Just in Time brings a touch of soul and melody to the track.
Okay.
His vocals are smooth, almost ethereal,
Interesting.
and they provide a counterpoint to the rapping.
Okay.
It's like he's adding another dimension to the music,
Right.
creating a sense of space and depth.
Okay, so we've got these 4 distinct voices,
We do.
each with their own unique style and approach to rhyming.
Mm-hmm.
What's the overall effect? What kind of experience does Chase create for the listener?
Chase is a wild ride.
Okay.
It's unpredictable, challenging,
Right.
and ultimately rewarding.
Oh, wow.
It's like being dropped into a sonic jungle where you're constantly navigating new terrain,
Interesting.
encountering strange creatures, and
Yeah.
discovering hidden treasures.
It's a journey.
It is.
It's definitely not background music.
It's not.
You have to be fully engaged,
Right.
actively listening, to catch all the nuances and layers of meaning.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it such a compelling listening experience.
It does.
It's a track that demands your attention,
It does.
rewards repeat listens,
Yes.
and will stay with you long after the music stops.
For sure.
Okay, we've talked about Travis Scott Concert and Chase,
Mm-hmm.
2 tracks that showcase Canibus's ability to collaborate with other artists
Right.
and create something truly unique and unexpected.
Yeah.
But there's another collaboration on Kaiju that I'm particularly curious about,
All right.
and it's one that might surprise some listeners.
Okay.
His collaboration with DMX on Desperado's PT2.
Interesting. Now, DMX is known for his raw, aggressive style,
Yeah.
his streetwise lyrics, and his emotionally charged delivery.
Definitely.
How does that fit into the world of Kaiju?
It's an intriguing pairing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You have Canibus, the lyrical technician,
Right.
the master of wordplay, and then you have DMX, the raw nerve, the voice of pain and struggle. Yeah.
But when they come together on Desperado's P2,
Yeah.
something magical happens.
So they're not just clashing, there's a synergy between their styles.
Absolutely. It's like 2 sides of the same coin,
Okay.
2 different expressions of the human experience coming together
Right.
to create a whole that's greater than the sum of its parts.
I'm really curious to hear how this plays out in the music itself.
Okay.
What's the vibe of Desperado's PT2? How do their voices blend together?
The track has this dark, brooding energy.
Okay.
The beat is sparse, almost menacing, with these heavy drums and haunting synths.
Right.
Canibus's verse is introspective, philosophical,
Okay.
exploring themes of mortality, fate, and the search for meaning.
And what about DMX's contribution?
DMX comes in with his signature growl.
Yeah.
His voice raw with emotion.
Right.
He's rapping about his struggles, his demons, his journey through darkness.
Oh.
But there's also a sense of hope,
Okay.
a flicker of light in his verses. as he talks about redemption and the power of faith.
It's like they're both grappling with these existential questions,
They are.
but from different perspectives.
Exactly.
And that's what makes the collaboration so compelling.
It does.
They're not shying away from the darkness, from the pain, from the complexities of life,
Right.
but they're also offering glimpses of hope,
Yeah.
of resilience, of the possibility of transcendence.
Absolutely.
It's a powerful message, especially given the overall themes of kaiju.
It is.
We've talked about societal collapse,
Yeah.
technological dystopia,
Right.
and the struggle for individual freedom.
Yeah.
But Desperados T2 feels like a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and darkness, there's still beauty to be found. There's still strength to be drawn upon.
Absolutely.
It's a testament to the human spirit,
It is.
to our capacity to endure, to overcome,
Yeah.
to find meaning, even in the face of adversity.
Right.
And I think that's a message that resonates deeply with Canibus's fans.
It does.
They're drawn to his music because it's real. It's raw.
Yeah.
It's honest.
Authentic.
He's not afraid to confront the darkness,
He's not.
but he's also not afraid to offer hope.
Right.
It's a delicate balance, but he manages to pull it off brilliantly on Desperados PT2.
He does.
Okay, so we've explored 3 of the collaborations on Kaiju,
Yep.
each showcasing a different facet of Canibus's artistry and his ability to work with other artists to create something truly unique and memorable.
Yeah.
But there's one more collaboration that we need to talk about,
Okay.
and it's perhaps the most unexpected of them all.
Right.
His collaboration with Hus Kingpin on COVID Santa.
Interesting.
Now, Hus Kingpin is known for his gritty street tales,
Yeah.
his sharp wit, and his love of classic hip-hop.
Absolutely.
What happens when you combine that with Canibus's complex wordplay and dystopian visions?
Well, COVID Santa is a fascinating track,
Okay.
both lyrically and sonically.
All right.
You have Canibus, the master of metaphor, the architect of complex rhyme schemes.
Yeah.
And then you have Hus Kingpin, the storyteller,
Okay.
the observer of street life,
Right.
the keeper of hip-hop tradition.
Interesting.
And somehow they managed to find common ground in this dark, surreal narrative
Okay.
about a world ravaged by a pandemic
Right.
and a Santa Claus who's fallen ill.
Okay, that sounds wild.
Yeah.
What's the vibe of the track? How does it fit into the overall sonic landscape of Kaiju?
COVID Santa has this eerie,
Okay.
almost cinematic feel.
Right.
The beat is sparse with these echoing drums and these dissonant synths that create a sense of unease and dread.
Whoa. Okay.
Canibus sets the scene with these vivid descriptions
Okay.
of a world in lockdown where fear and paranoia run rampant. He talks about empty streets,
Right.
masked faces,
Yeah.
and the constant threat of infection.
It's like he's tapping into the collective anxieties of the pandemic era.
He is.
That sense of uncertainty and fear that we all experienced.
Exactly.
And then Hus Kingpin comes in with his streetwise perspective, rapping about how the pandemic has impacted his community, how it's exacerbated existing inequalities,
Right.
and how people are struggling to survive. So it's not just an abstract dystopian vision.
It's not.
It's grounded in the realities of people's lived experiences.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes COVID Santa so powerful.
It does.
It's not just a fantasy, it's a reflection of the world we live in.
It is.
Okay, so we've got this eerie atmosphere, this dystopian setting, and these lyrics that blend social commentary with personal narratives.
Right.
But what about Santa Claus? How does he fit into all of this?
Well, Santa Claus, in this context, becomes this symbol of lost innocence,
Okay.
of shattered dreams, of a world that's been irrevocably altered.
Wow.
Canibus raps about Santa falling ill,
Okay.
succumbing to the virus,
Right.
his magic fading away.
Wow. That's a dark twist on a classic holiday figure.
It is.
What's the significance of that?
I think it represents the loss of hope,
Okay.
the disillusionment that many people felt during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Santa Claus, in a way, embodies the belief in goodness, in magic, in the possibility of a brighter future.
Right.
And when he falls ill, it's like that belief is shattered.
It's a powerful metaphor for the times we're living in.
It is.
Okay, so we've got this dystopian setting, this ill Santa Claus, and these lyrics that blend social commentary with personal narratives.
Right.
What's the overall message of COVID Santa? What does it leave the listener with?
I think COVID Santa is a cautionary tale,
Okay.
a warning about the fragility of our world
Right.
and the importance of cherishing the things that matter most.
Wow.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, we need to hold on to hope.
Okay.
To believe in the possibility of a better future.
Yeah.
And to fight for the things that make life worth living.
It's a message that resonates deeply.
It does.
Especially given all the challenges we faced in recent years. Okay, we've explored COVID Santa.
Yeah.
And the unique way in which Canibus and Husk Kingpin combine their styles to create a thought-provoking and emotionally charged track.
Right.
But Kaiju isn't all collaborations.
It's not.
There are several solo tracks that really highlight Canibus's lyrical prowess and his ability to weave intricate narratives and explore complex themes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Canibus shines brightly on his own as well.
Okay.
And those solo tracks offer a different kind of depth.
Let's dive into one of those solo tracks. What would you suggest?
I think Animal Husbandry is a great example of Canibus at his most lyrical and conceptually ambitious.
Okay.
It's a track that's packed with scientific references, philosophical musings, and intricate wordplay.
All right, Animal Husbandry it is.
Great.
Now remember, we're on a mission to help our listener grasp these complex lyrics.
Yes.
So let's break this track down.
Okay.
What are some of the key themes or ideas that Canibus is exploring here?
Well, Animal Husbandry at its core is about the power of language.
Okay.
And the ways in which it shapes our reality.
Interesting.
Canibus compares language to a tool, a weapon.
Wow.
Even a living organism that can be manipulated and controlled.
That's powerful.
He raps about linguistic engineering, suggesting that words can be used to program our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors.
That's a fascinating concept.
It is.
It's like he's saying that language isn't just a neutral tool for communication.
No, it's not.
It's a force that can be used to influence and control us.
Absolutely.
Often in ways that we're not even aware of.
Right.
And he uses the metaphor of animal husbandry to illustrate this point. He compares humans to animals being bred and trained for specific purposes.
Right.
He raps about selective breeding, domestication, and the yoke of language, suggesting that we're being conditioned and controlled through the words we use and the stories we tell ourselves. Wow, that's a pretty bleak picture.
It is kind of a bleak picture.
But is there any hope for breaking free from this linguistic prison?
Well, that's the central question that Canibus seems to be grappling with in Animal Husbandry. He doesn't offer any easy answers.
Right.
But he does suggest that the first step is awareness.
Okay.
We need to become conscious of the ways in which language is being used to manipulate us, to shape our perceptions, and to limit our potential.
It's like he's saying, hey, wake up, pay attention to the words you use, the stories you tell yourself, and the narratives that are being imposed upon you.
Yes.
And once we become aware of those linguistic traps, we can start to break free from that. We can start to reclaim our own language, our own narratives, and our own power.
Exactly.
Okay, so Animal Husbandry is about the power of language, the dangers of linguistic manipulation, and the importance of awareness and critical thinking. And how does Canibus convey these ideas through his lyrics?
Okay.
What are some of the techniques he uses to create this impactful and thought-provoking track?
One of the things that stands out about Animal Husbandry is Canibus's use of scientific terminology.
Okay.
He weaves in words like morphic resonance, epigenetics, and mitochondrial DNA, creating this really dense and challenging lyrical landscape.
But it's not just about using big words.
It's not just about using big words.
He's using this scientific language to create powerful metaphors.
Yes.
And to underscore his points about the ways in which language can be used to control us.
Absolutely. For instance, when he raps about morphic resonance, he's drawing a parallel between the way information is transferred through energy fields and the way ideas and cultural patterns can be transmitted through language.
Interesting.
He's suggesting that we're all connected through this invisible web of information and influence.
That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is.
It's like he's saying that language isn't just about communicating with others in the present moment.
Right.
It's about connecting us to that.
Welcome back. Let's keep going with our exploration of Kaiju. We've been focusing a lot on those collaborative tracks, but now I think it's time to shift gears a little bit and turn our attention to some of those solo tracks that really showcase Canibus's lyrical mastery.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
While the collaborations are definitely a highlight of the album, I am eager to kind of dive deeper into Canibus's solo work and see how he uses his lyrical prowess to explore these complex themes we've been discussing.
Absolutely.
What track do you think we should focus on next?
Let's delve into The Long Road.
Okay.
It's a track that really showcases Canibus's introspective side.
Okay.
And his ability to weave personal narratives with broader philosophical reflections.
Okay. The Long Road.
Yeah.
It's a title that seems to suggest a journey, a process of growth and transformation. What's the overall vibe of this track? How does it fit into the larger narrative of Kaiju?
The Long Road is a track that feels both contemplative and defiant at the same time.
Interesting.
It's got this melancholic undercurrent.
Okay.
A sense of weariness and world weariness. But there's also this underlying current of determination.
Right.
A refusal to give up even in the face of adversity.
That duality is something that we've seen throughout Kaiju.
We have
that tension between despair and hope, between acknowledging the darkness and still searching for meaning and purpose.
Right.
How does The Long Road embody that tension?
Well, in The Long Road, Canibus is reflecting on his own journey as an artist.
Yeah.
The challenges he's faced,
Right.
the sacrifices he's made, and the toll it's taken on him. He raps about feeling isolated,
Okay.
misunderstood, even betrayed.
So it's a very personal track.
It is.
He's letting us into his inner world, sharing his vulnerabilities and struggles.
Absolutely, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
He's not putting on a front.
Yeah.
He's not trying to be a superhero. He's being honest about the difficulties of his chosen path.
And that honesty is something that resonates with Canibus's fans.
It does.
You know, they connect with his authenticity, his willingness to be vulnerable, to expose his raw emotions, and that's what makes The Long Road such a compelling track.
Absolutely.
It's a glimpse into the heart and mind of a complex and multifaceted artist.
Yes.
A reminder that even the most talented and successful individuals have their own doubts, fears, and struggles.
Absolutely. Everyone does.
Okay, so we've got this sense of introspection, of vulnerability, of the challenges of navigating a long and difficult path. But it's not just a lament, right?
It's not.
There's also this element of defiance.
Yes.
A refusal to give up.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
In the midst of those reflections on his struggles, Canibus also affirms his commitment to his art.
Okay.
His unwavering belief in his own vision.
Right.
He raps about the importance of staying true to yourself, even when the world tries to break you.
So it's a message of resilience.
It is.
Of perseverance.
Yes.
Of finding the strength to keep going even when the going gets tough.
Precisely. And I think that message resonates deeply with anyone who's ever pursued a dream, faced obstacles, or felt the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yeah.
The Long Road is a reminder that we're not alone in our struggles.
Okay.
And that even the darkest nights are followed by dawn.
It's a powerful message.
It is.
Especially in the context of Kaiju, which often paints such a bleak picture of the world. It's like Canibus is saying, yes, things are messed up, but we can't give up.
Nope.
We have to keep fighting, keep creating, keep searching for meaning and beauty.
Exactly. And that's what makes Canibus such a compelling artist. He's not afraid to confront the darkness.
Right.
But he's also not afraid to offer hope.
Okay, so The Long Road is about the challenges of an artist's journey. The importance of staying true to yourself and the power of resilience.
Yes.
And how does Canibus convey these ideas through his lyrics?
Okay.
What are some of the techniques or stylistic choices that stand out in this track?
One of the things that makes The Long Road so effective is its simplicity.
Okay.
The beat is stripped down, almost meditative, with these mournful piano chords and these subtle strings that create a sense of space and contemplation.
So it's a departure from some of the more complex and layered production on Kaiju.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think that sonic simplicity allows Canibus's lyrics to really shine.
So it's a case of less is more.
It is.
He's using a minimalist approach to create maximum impact.
Exactly.
And his lyrics on The Long Road are some of his most introspective and emotionally raw.
Yeah, well,
he's not trying to impress with his vocabulary or his rhyme schemes.
No.
He's simply speaking from the heart.
Yeah.
Sharing his experiences and connecting with the listener on a deeper level.
Right.
Can you give me an example of how that honesty comes through in his lyrics?
Sure. In one verse, he raps.
Okay.
I've been walking this road for so long, my feet are bleeding.
Wow.
I've seen so much darkness, I'm starting to question everything, but I can't stop. Now I have to keep going.
Right.
I have to find the light.
Yeah.
It's a powerful image.
It is.
One that conveys both the weariness and the determination
Yeah.
that define Canibus's journey.
Those lyrics are incredibly powerful.
They are.
You can feel the weight of his experiences, the toll it's taken on him.
Yeah.
But also that unwavering sense of purpose, that refusal to give up.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what makes The Long Road such a resonant track.
It does.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, we can find the strength to keep going.
We can keep searching for meaning.
Right.
And to keep believing in ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay, so The Long Road is about the struggles and triumphs of an artist's journey.
Yeah.
The importance of resilience and the power of staying true to yourself.
Right.
And Canibus uses this stripped-down production and his raw, honest lyrics to create a track that's both emotionally impactful and intellectually stimulating.
Absolutely. It's a track that showcases a different side of Canibus.
Okay.
A side that's introspective, vulnerable, and deeply human.
It's a reminder that even the most complex and enigmatic artists are ultimately human beings who experience the same joys, sorrows, and challenges as the rest of us.
Absolutely. We're all human.
Okay, so we've explored The Long Road.
Yeah.
And the ways in which Canibus uses introspection and vulnerability to create a powerful and resonant track.
It's like a great track.
But Canibus isn't always so serious and introspective.
Oh, he's not. He's also capable of creating tracks that are playful.
Yeah.
Energetic and even humorous.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right.
He is a master of wordplay.
Yeah.
And he knows how to use it to entertain as well as to educate.
And there's one track on Kaiju that perfectly exemplifies that playful side.
All right.
Kaiju Karaoke.
Kaiju Karaoke, okay.
Now, the title alone suggests something lighthearted and fun.
It does.
A departure from some of the more serious themes that we've been exploring.
Right.
What's the vibe of this track? How does it fit into the overall sonic landscape of Kaiju?
Well, Kaiju Karaoke is a burst of energy.
Okay.
A sonic sugar rush that injects a sense of playfulness into the album.
Okay.
It's got this bouncy, almost frenetic beat with these infectious synth melodies and these driving drums that make you want to move.
So it's a dance track.
Well, not exactly in the traditional sense.
Right.
It's not a club banger.
Right.
It's more like a playful experiment, a deconstruction of hip-hop conventions.
Interesting.
Canibus is rapping in this exaggerated, almost cartoonish style.
Right.
With these over-the-top rhymes and these tongue-in-cheek lyrics.
So it's a parody of sorts?
There's definitely an element of parody there.
Okay.
He's playing with stereotypes.
Right.
Exaggerating tropes. And subverting expectations.
Okay.
But it's not mean-spirited.
Right.
It's more like he's having fun with the genre.
Okay.
Showing that hip-hop can be playful and experimental, even while addressing serious themes.
It's like he's saying, hey, we can be conscious and thought-provoking.
Exactly.
But we can also have a good time, let loose, and enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And Kaiju Karaoke is a reminder that hip-hop is a versatile and dynamic art form that can encompass a wide range of emotions and styles.
Okay, so we've got this energetic beat, this playful rapping style, and this underlying sense of humor.
Absolutely.
What are some of the lyrical themes that Canibus explores on Kaiju Karaoke?
Well, even though the track is lighthearted and fun, Canibus still manages to weave in some thought-provoking ideas.
Okay.
He touches on themes of identity, authenticity, and the pressures of fame.
So it's not just mindless fun.
It's not.
There's some substance beneath the surface.
Absolutely. He's still Canibus, even when he's being playful.
Yeah.
He's always thinking, always observing, always searching for deeper meaning.
Can you give me an example of how those deeper themes come through in the lyrics?
Sure. In one verse, he raps.
Okay.
They want me to be a caricature, a puppet on a string.
Right.
They want me to dance for them, to sing for them, to be their entertainment.
Okay.
But I'm not a toy.
Right.
I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I have my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own story to tell.
Yeah.
It's a powerful statement.
It is.
One that speaks to the pressures that artists face to conform, to please the crowd, to sacrifice their authenticity for the sake of fame and fortune.
That's a really relevant message.
It is.
Especially in today's social media-driven culture,
Yeah.
where artists are constantly under pressure.
They are.
To present a certain image, to cater to trends, and to chase likes and followers.
Absolutely.
And Canibus is resisting that pressure.
He is.
He's saying, I'm going to be myself, even if it means alienating some people.
Right.
I'm not going to compromise my art or my integrity for the sake of popularity.
It's a powerful statement.
It's a message of individuality.
It is.
Of authenticity, of staying true to your own vision.
Yes.
Even when the world is telling you to do otherwise.
Right.
Precisely. And Kaiju Karaoke, despite its playful tone, is a powerful affirmation of that message.
Okay, so Kaiju Karaoke is a track that showcases Canibus's playful side.
It does.
His ability to have fun with language and hip-hop conventions.
Right. While still addressing deeper themes of identity, authenticity, and the pressures of fame.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in the midst of serious topics and complex wordplay, Canibus hasn't lost his sense of humor or his ability to entertain.
It's a nice balance.
It is.
And it keeps the album from feeling too heavy or preachy.
Right.
It reminds us that Canibus is a human being and not just a lyrical machine.
Exactly.
He can be serious, introspective, philosophical, but he can also be playful, witty, and even silly.
Right.
And Kaiju Karaoke is a perfect example of that.
It is a great example of that.
It adds another dimension to the album, a layer of levity that helps to balance out some of the darker themes.
I agree. It adds another dimension to the album.
So we've explored Kaiju Karaoke.
We have.
And seen how Canibus can be both playful and profound. How he can have fun with language and hip-hop conventions while still addressing deeper issues.
Exactly. And this versatility is what makes Kaiju such a compelling listening experience.
It's
an album that's constantly shifting gears.
Yeah.
Keeping you on your toes and challenging your expectations.
It's like a sonic roller coaster, taking you through twists and turns, highs and lows, moments of intensity and moments of reflection.
Absolutely.
And that's what keeps you coming back for more.
It does.
Wanting to unravel the layers.
Right.
To decode the metaphors. To fully grasp the depth and complexity of Canibus's vision.
Exactly. It's an album that rewards multiple listens.
Right.
Close attention. And a willingness to engage with the artist on his own terms.
Okay, so we've explored Kaiju Karaoke and its role in providing a sense of playfulness and balance to the album.
Right.
But there's another solo track on Kaiju that I want to touch on.
Right.
And it's one that I think speaks to a very specific anxiety of our time.
Okay.
COVID Santa.
COVID Santa. Right.
Yeah, the title alone is striking.
It is.
Evoking images of a world gripped by pandemic. Fear and uncertainty.
Yeah, it's definitely a track that captures the zeitgeist, reflecting the anxieties and uncertainties of the COVID-19 era.
And it's not just the title.
It's not.
The lyrics themselves paint a vivid and unsettling picture of a world in lockdown, where fear and paranoia run rampant.
They do.
What are some of the standout lines or images that come to mind for you from this track?
Oh, one of the most chilling lines is, Santa's on a ventilator, elves are riding in the streets.
Wow.
It's such a stark juxtaposition.
Yeah.
This image of a beloved holiday figure succumbing to the virus and the resulting social unrest.
Yeah.
It's like Canibus is saying that even the most cherished traditions and symbols of hope are vulnerable to the forces of chaos and destruction.
That's a really powerful image.
It is.
It speaks to the fragility of our world.
Yeah.
The ways in which our sense of normalcy and security can be shattered in an instant.
Yeah.
And Canibus doesn't shy away from exploring the darker aspects.
No, he doesn't.
Of the pandemic experience.
Right.
He raps about isolation, fear, and the loss of connection. He's not sugarcoating it.
He's not.
He's confronting the reality of what we've all been through, the collective trauma that we've experienced.
Precisely. And I think that honesty is what makes COVID Santa such a resonant track.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of our shared experience.
Right.
A way of processing the pain and uncertainty of this unprecedented time.
Okay, so we've got this dystopian setting, this imagery of a sick Santa Claus, and these lyrics that capture the anxieties and uncertainties of the pandemic era. But is there any hope to be found in COVID Santa?
Right.
Is there a glimmer of light amidst all this darkness?
Even in the midst of this bleak scenario, Canibus manages to weave in a thread of hope.
Right.
He raps about the importance of community, of resilience, of finding ways to connect with each other, even in the face of isolation.
So it's not just a nihilistic vision of the end of the world.
No, it's not.
He's suggesting that even in the darkest of times,
Yeah.
there's still potential for human connection,
Right.
for compassion, for empathy.
Exactly. And I think that's a really important message,
Yeah.
especially given all the division and polarization
Right.
that we've witnessed in recent years.
Yeah.
Cannabis is reminding us that we're all in this together and that we need to find ways to support each other,
Right.
to care for each other,
Yeah.
and to build bridges rather than walls.
It's a powerful message of unity and hope.
It is.
One that's all the more potent coming from an artist
Right.
who's known for his complex and often challenging lyrics.
Absolutely.
It's like he's saying, yes, the world is a scary place right now, but we can get through this if we work together, if we support each other, and if we hold on to hope.
Precisely. And I think that's the ultimate message of COVID, Santa.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit can endure and that we have the power to create a better future together.
Okay, so COVID Santa is a track that captures the anxieties of the pandemic era.
It does.
But it also offers a message of hope and resilience.
Right.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times,
Yeah.
human connection and compassion can prevail.
Absolutely. It's a track that reflects the times we live in, but it also transcends them,
Okay.
offering timeless insights into the human condition and our capacity for both darkness and light.
Okay, we've explored COVID Santa
Yes.
and the ways in which Canibus uses dystopian imagery and personal narratives to reflect on the pandemic experience and to offer a message of hope and resilience.
Absolutely.
But there's one more solo track on Kaiju that I want to delve into, and it's one that I think speaks to a very primal fear, Hydra.
Hydra, okay.
Now, the title itself evokes images of a multi-headed monster,
It does.
a creature that's nearly impossible to defeat.
Yeah, the Hydra in Greek mythology is a creature that regrows two heads
Right.
for everyone that's severed.
Yeah.
It's a symbol of resilience, of persistence,
Right.
but also of something that's difficult to control,
Okay.
something that can spiral out of control.
And I think Canibus uses that imagery
Yeah.
to explore the anxieties of our time, the feeling that we're facing multiple interconnected threats that are constantly evolving and mutating.
Exactly. He's not just talking about a single issue or problem.
Right.
He's talking about a complex web of interconnected challenges,
Yeah.
from climate change to social inequality to technological disruption.
It's like he's saying that we're facing a hydra of our own making,
Absolutely.
a monster that we've created through our own actions and choices.
Precisely.
And he's asking us to confront that monster, to understand its nature, and to find ways to defeat it.
Right.
Okay, so we've got this powerful metaphor of the Hydra.
We do.
Representing the complex and interconnected challenges of our time.
Yes.
How does Canibus explore those challenges in the lyrics of Hydra?
Okay.
What are some of the standout lines or images that come to mind for you?
Well, one of the most striking lines is, the system is rigged, the game is fixed, they're playing us like pawns while they laugh all the way to the bank.
Wow.
It's a sentiment that resonates with a lot of people.
It does.
Who are feeling disillusioned and disenfranchised, who feel like the system is working against them.
It's a sentiment that's been echoed by many artists and activists in recent years.
It has.
This feeling that the rules of the game are unfair, that the deck is stacked against the average person.
Right.
And Canibus isn't afraid to give voice to that anger.
He's not.
That frustration, that sense of powerlessness.
Absolutely.
But is it just about venting frustration?
Right.
Is there any constructive criticism, any call to action in Hydra?
Even though the track is full of anger and frustration, Canibus also offers a glimmer of hope. He raps about the importance of awareness, of education, of organizing, and of fighting for a better world.
Right.
He's not saying it's going to be easy, but he is suggesting that we have a responsibility to stand up for what we believe in and to challenge the systems of power that are oppressing us.
So it's a call to action, a reminder that we're not powerless.
Yes.
That we have the ability to change the course of history if we work together and fight for what we believe in.
Exactly. And I think that message is especially relevant today.
Yeah.
When so many people are feeling overwhelmed by the challenges we face. Hydra is a reminder that we're not alone.
Okay.
That there are others who share our concerns.
Right.
And that together we can make a difference.
It's a powerful message of hope and resistance.
It is.
One that's all the more potent coming from an artist who's known for his complex and often challenging lyrics.
Absolutely.
It's like he's saying, yes, the world is a scary place right now. Right.
But we have the power to change it.
Yeah.
If we're willing to fight for it.
Precisely. And I think that's the ultimate message of Hydra.
Yeah.
It's a call to arms,
Yeah.
a challenge to confront the monsters that we've created, and to build a better world for ourselves and future generations.
Okay, we've explored Hydra.
We have.
And the ways in which Canibus uses the metaphor of a multi-headed monster to represent the complex and interconnected challenges of our time.
Right.
We've seen how he captures the anxieties and frustrations of our era, but also offers a message of hope and resistance.
Absolutely. And I think this track really showcases Canibus's ability to blend social commentary with personal reflection.
Right.
To weave together these big ideas with his own unique perspective.
Exactly. He's not just lecturing us.
Right.
He's sharing his own struggles, his own observations, his own hopes and fears. And that's what makes his music so compelling.
It is.
It's personal, it's authentic, and it resonates on a deeper level.
It's an invitation to join him on a journey of exploration and discovery. To grapple with these big questions and to find our own path to meaning and purpose in a world that can often feel chaotic and overwhelming.
Okay, so we've delved into several of the solo tracks on Kaiju, exploring the ways in which Canibus uses introspection, metaphor, and social commentary to create a rich and rewarding listening experience.
Absolutely.
But there's one aspect of Kaiju that we haven't touched on yet.
Okay.
And it's one that I think is crucial to understanding the album's overall message.
Okay.
The production.
The production, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The production on Kaiju is as diverse and multifaceted as Canibus's lyrics.
Right.
And it plays a crucial role in shaping the album's overall mood and atmosphere.
So it's not just about the words.
It's not just about the words.
The music itself is an integral part of the storytelling process. Absolutely. Canibus has always been meticulous about his production choices.
Right.
And on Kaiju, he's assembled a team of talented producers who have helped him to create a sonic landscape that's both innovative and evocative.
Okay, so let's dive into the sounds of Kaiju.
Right.
What are some of the sonic elements that stand out for you on this album?
Okay.
How would you describe the overall sound and feel of the production?
Well, the production on Kaiju is this fascinating blend of classic hip-hop elements with more experimental and futuristic sounds.
Okay.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Canibus's Kaiju.
It's been a journey.
They have.
We've explored the themes, the lyrical complexities, and the diverse collaborations that make this album such a fascinating listening experience.
That's right.
We've unpacked metaphors, we've analyzed those dense rhyme schemes, and I think it's safe to say this is not your typical easy listening album.
It's not background music.
No.
Yeah.
But for a listener like you,
right,
who really wants to understand Canibus's message.
What are some of the key takeaways that we can highlight before we wrap things up?
One of the most prominent takeaways is that Canibus sees this world, the world of Kaiju, as this world that's teetering on the brink of collapse.
Okay.
Often driven by unchecked technology and this kind of societal decay.
Right.
Like he's holding up this distorted mirror, forcing us to confront the potential consequences of our choices.
We talked about that feeling of looming dystopia.
He's it.
But it's not just bleakness, right?
It's not just bleakness.
There's also this thread of spiritual awakening.
Yes.
Woven throughout the album.
Absolutely.
A search for meaning amidst the chaos.
Right.
I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, Canibus seems to be suggesting that even in a world that's seemingly on the verge of collapse, there's still this potential for individual growth and transformation. He uses imagery like the empire beneath the ice to hint at this ancient wisdom and the cyclical nature of history.
It's like he's saying, we've been here before. Exactly.
And there are lessons to be learned.
There are lessons to be learned.
And he's not afraid to challenge his listeners to do the work.
He's not.
Remember how in animal husbandry,
Yeah.
he uses that complex term, morphic resonance?
I do.
It wasn't just about showing off his vocabulary. He was drawing this parallel between energy fields and the transmission of ideas through language,
Yeah.
suggesting that we're all connected in ways we might not even realize.
We are all connected.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a great example of how Canibus blends these complex scientific concepts with his artistry to make a deeper point.
It's not just about dropping knowledge.
Right.
It's about making you think differently.
He's constantly pushing the boundaries of what hip-hop can be.
He is a true innovator.
And it's not just about the intellectual side either.
Right.
We talked about how Canibus's collaborations bring a whole other dimension to kaiju.
They do.
Travis Scott concert with its clash of styles between Born Sun and Body Bag Ben really captured that feeling of social unrest and chaos that he talks about.
Yes, a very intense track.
The way he curated those collaborations, bringing together artists from such different backgrounds and styles,
Right.
is really a testament to his vision.
It is.
He's not just picking names.
Right.
He's creating a dialogue, a sonic tapestry where these diverse voices can interact and create something truly unique.
And it wasn't just about creating a diverse sound.
Right.
Each collaboration seemed to add another layer of meaning to the album.
Remember the track chase with MF Doom, Kool Keith, and Just in Time?
Oh, yeah, what a track.
It was like each verse was a different piece of a puzzle.
It was.
And when you put them all together, you got this incredibly complex and rewarding picture.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Chase is a perfect example of how Canibus uses collaboration, not just to create interesting sounds, but also to explore different perspectives and push the boundaries of his own artistry.
We even saw that in his choice to collaborate with DMX on Desperado CT2.
Right, an unlikely pairing.
Seemed like an odd pairing at first, but their contrasting styles actually created this really powerful dialogue about resilience and finding hope amidst darkness.
Absolutely. It was a reminder that Canibus isn't just about complexity and intellect.
Right.
He's also tapping into raw emotion, vulnerability, and the shared human experience.
Right, and that's part of what makes Kaiju such a powerful and resonant album.
It is very powerful.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
This idea of Canibus as a truth seeker. It's clear from his lyrics that he's not afraid to question authority.
He's not.
To challenge conventional wisdom and to explore ideas that might be considered controversial or even dangerous.
Absolutely. He's constantly probing, pushing boundaries, encouraging listeners to think critically about the world around them. He's not offering easy answers or simple solutions. He's asking questions, raising doubts, and prompting us to engage in a deeper level of inquiry.
And he's doing it all through this incredibly complex and layered lyrical style that demands your attention.
Absolutely.
Makes you rewind and even sends you reaching for a dictionary from time to time.
He has a very extensive vocabulary.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's not spoon-feeding you information.
No, he's not.
He's challenging you to work for it.
Right.
To unpack those metaphors, to decode those rhyme schemes, and to engage with the material on a deeper level.
And I think that's what makes Kaiju such a rewarding experience. It's not passive entertainment.
Right.
It's an active engagement.
Yeah.
A mental workout.
Yeah.
A journey of discovery.
And it's a journey that will likely leave you with more questions than answers.
Oh, probably.
But I think that's part of Canibus's brilliance.
It is.
He's not trying to tell you what to think. Right.
He's trying to make you think.
Yeah.
To challenge your assumptions.
Absolutely.
And to encourage you to find your own truth.
And to do that, he utilizes a variety of tools, from dense scientific vocabulary like morphic resonance to vivid imagery like Santa's on a ventilator.
Yeah.
It's not just shock value.
Right.
It's about making you pause, reconsider, and maybe even see the world in a new light.
We've talked about the big themes, the lyrical complexities, the diverse collaborations.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what is the lasting impact of Kaiju?
Okay.
How do you think this album will be remembered?
Right.
And what kind of legacy do you think it will leave behind?
I think Kaiju will be remembered as a groundbreaking work.
Okay.
An album that pushed the boundaries of hip-hop both lyrically and thematically. It's an album that demanded attention.
It did.
Challenged listeners.
Yeah.
And expanded the possibilities of what hip-hop could be.
It's not just an album, it's a statement.
It is.
A manifesto, a call to action.
It is, and I think it will continue to inspire artists and listeners for years to come.
I think so too.
And its influence will extend beyond hip-hop.
Right.
I think Kaiju will be seen as a cultural touchstone. A work that reflects the anxieties and aspirations of our time.
Yes, absolutely.
It's an album that speaks to the human condition.
It does.
To our search for meaning, our struggle for freedom, and our desire to create a better world.
It's a very powerful album.
Okay, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into Canibus's kaiju.
We have.
We've explored its depths, unpacked its layers, and hopefully shed some light on its hidden meanings.
Right.
But ultimately, the journey doesn't end here.
It does.
This deep dive was just the beginning.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn to revisit kaiju.
Right.
To listen with fresh ears, and to discover your own interpretations.
Exactly.
Let Canibus's words challenge you, inspire you, and maybe even transform you, because that's the power of great art. It has the ability to change the way we see the world and ourselves.
It does.
And as you continue to explore kaiju, I think you'll find that it's an album that keeps on giving, revealing new layers of meaning with each listen.
Absolutely. It's an album that will stay with you, prompting you to question, to explore, and to become a more conscious participant in the unfolding story of humanity.